Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I'm going to do a take two. Take two. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, that was so much better. You're already improved. Isn't that great? I'm Kris King, and I want to welcome you to this evening called Living Life as an Adventure. How many of you really would like to have more adventure in your daily life? Awesome. Why not? It's a possibility for us, always. And yet sometimes that's not where we hang out. How many of you know you have patterns of behavior that you repeat every day? That's not very adventurous, is it? You know, I look at my morning and I wake up at 6. I'm out on the road at 6:10, walking, doing my morning walk. I predictably turn on my hot water when I get back to make a cup of tea, and I turn on my boiled eggs so I can have those when I'm ready to go to work. And I have a schedule that I keep that really helps me function in my life and have things handled really easily. How do I be in that pattern and still feel adventuresome? You know, so I can be in a pattern and like cows do. That's how they go out and eat. And they turn around and walk back the other way. But even being in a pattern and having a great time and being adventuresome inside of that, what a wonderful thing. So we do these evenings to introduce people to our work and also to share with grads new content, time to come play, time to communicate and practice the things that we teach at Wings. So we kind of and I get to make up new stuff, which is always fun for me, you know. So how many of you are a guest this evening of a grad? A guest, or that you haven't done a seminar yet with Wings? Okay, great. So I would really encourage you while we're going along, if you have questions, please ask them. We've been inside of seminars together, so there's language that we use that we just all accept. And I do my best to have the evenings not that way, and yet I know it creeps in. So if there's stuff you want to ask questions about, please do. Okay. So tonight, living life as an adventure. Adventure, this is from the Oxford American Dictionary. Tells you how to pronounce it, adventure. As a noun, an unusual and exciting, typically hazardous. Now, isn't that great? Now you're really excited, huh? Experience, activity, or undertaking. Hazardous, does that raise up the level of concern when you think about adventure? I don't, but I guess snowboarding is hazardous. You know, financial investing is hazardous. Dating, I'm getting it. It's hazardous, right? And as a verb, engage in a hazardous and exciting activity, especially the exploration of unknown territory. That's the part that I really like. Exploring the unknown in myself and in my world. How many of you love to travel? Okay. Do you behave differently when you travel than when you're in your everyday patterns?
Yes.
You know, there's a different consciousness that we bring to that process, and how delightful it would be if we brought that kind of consciousness to our everyday life. We think we know what's going on, and yet we see what we see every day, and we miss the things that we miss every day. So we think the picture is the same when it's really not. It's really flowing, changing all the time. So tonight's about adventure, and I thought, okay, what can I do to have this evening be different? So I thought, okay, one way would be to have all the lights out on the building and the front door unlocked and see how many people would come in. I mean, that would be an adventure. You might not like it. You might think that's pretty hazardous, right? Going into a dark building. Where are they anyway? You know. Another thing I thought about was just not preparing anything. You know, just being totally spontaneous. Yeah. And I've done that before, and I did a little planning. Another one was that you would come into the room and it would just be in disarray. And, you know, just kind of messy and all that kind of stuff. And they'd say, okay, who's going to lead the evening? Kris would go, I don't think so. You know, I mean, so what are some other things I could have done that would have had this be like one of those edge kind of adventures? What are some of your ideas, Mark?
Showed up late.
Showed up late, that I showed up late. Made you sit here and, like the doctor's office. You know, I could have done that. What else?
Or not showed up at all.
Not showed up at all, just leave you sitting here all night with the lights on, you know, and looking at each other. And wondering what was going to happen. That's a good one, Myron. So what else could we have done?
We could have all worn safari outfits.
So worn some kind of costume. Yeah.
Well, you could have put like a bunch of charcoal in a thing and then asked everyone to take off their shoes and socks when they came in. not on, but like put a thing of charcoal lighter fluid and like you were gonna.
Oh, like we're gonna do a firework. Oh, you know, talking about adventure is one thing. It's easy to talk about it. Actually doing it is a whole other thing. How many of you, when I said, you're going to do something, you had, you know, a little heart rate increase and like, you know, maybe an inhalation of breath. It's like, what do you mean we're actually going to do it? You know, I thought we'd just kind of talk about it. Well, adventure is not about talk. You know, it really is about engaging with life and stepping into life. Maybe sweating a little as your heart is beating, you know. So, we had a little exercise and a little demo of how far you'll let yourself go under certain conditions, correct? If you were skydiving, you might have done something completely different. If you were with a group of friends that you knew better, you might do something completely different, you know. So context and environment have a lot to do with how much we'll jump into things, how much we think we can manage ourselves and be okay in the adventure, right? So, I decided that I had talked about going to Paris long enough and that I really wanted to go, and I looked at my calendar, picked up the phone, and made my plane reservations for May 25th to June 1. And I'm still really excited. And I was talking with somebody about it, and they said, "You're not going alone, are you?" I said, "Pardon me? You're not going alone to Paris. How could you do that?" And I love the idea of going alone. I've done it before, and I love that part of the adventure of exploring a place. You know, just whatever I want to do anytime. So, "Oh, no, you've really got to go with somebody else." I said, "Well, thank you for sharing." And as soon as I decided I wanted to go, I emailed my sister and said, "Hey, you know, I've been talking about this, and I finally decided I'm going to Paris." And I got an email back instantaneously, and she said, "Paris, I would love to go to Paris." And I go, I'm going to say a bad word. Oh, shit. You know, because my whole thing was that I could go alone and have this time. Well, I was going into seminar, she was going skiing, and I had time to think about it. And in 4 days' time, I realized I would love to go with my sister. We're great travelers together. We have a wonderful time. So I emailed her back and I said, "I'd love to have you join me." So today, I saw the person that said, "You just can't go alone." Okay? And she said, "You're still going to Paris, right?" And I said, "Yeah." "Do you have somebody going with you?" He said, "Well, yeah, actually I do." My sister, she goes, "Oh, thank God." You know, she was scared for me, and I totally trusted myself. But how many of you know, you feel that way sometimes when you hear people say they're going to do something that is like out on the edge for you, and you want to protect them? Well, I thought that was kind of interesting. So we both got our way on my trip.